And I guess there's no better time, since I'm talking about Bryan Danielson, than to talk about the leader of discipline, so to say, Bryan Danielson. So, also caught up in these stories, Bryan Danielson tweeted out something to the effect of, doing the right thing. It's not always going to make you the most money. It's not always going to be popular, but it's going to be the right thing to do. Hashtag AEW, and he put a heart. People were kind of like wondering what the hell is that, and immediately my eyebrows were raised. And then it was confirmed that Danielson was a part of a discipline committee, and I saw them flip on Bryan Danielson, of all people. A man with a pristine reputation inside of wrestling, a man that has worked in a creative capacity. He has obviously been a 20-year veteran, and he is someone that people think is friends with CM Punk, and they have obviously been connected as wrestlers for years and years, going back to I believe there was an indie show that was in Tampa. It was like FIP 2004. They were fighting each other or something like that, and they were in Ring of Honor, and had lots of matches against each other in WWE, and I think people saw this as like some type of betrayal and all that. I'm just here to let you know, Bryan Danielson did not owe CM Punk anything. You know what he owes him? He owes him fairness, professionalism, and to evaluate the situation as he sees fit. And in Danielson's stance, as it was said, was like, obviously CM Punk doesn't want to be here anymore, and he, based on everything that's happened, he probably shouldn't be here anymore. So Danielson, not the sole leader of this thing, it was with legal professionals as lawyers and HR people all kind of making up this committee, and Danielson kind of being the wrestler representative of this thing. If it wasn't going to be Danielson, who would you want on the committee, I ask? Would you want Kenny Omega on the committee? Would you like Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson on the committee? Would you like Christopher Daniels on the committee? Would you like several other people that this man ostracized on the committee? Would you like Colt Cabana on the committee? Would you like Jack Perry on the committee? Would you like Chris Jericho on the committee? No. So no matter who it is they're going to be the enemy, huh? That's what it seems like here. However, it was like collective amnesia swept over the mindless, maybe that's how I'll refer to these people, the mindless minions, and not to be confused with Athena's minions. It was like they forgot Tony Khan walked out on stage and fired CM Punk in Chicago and basically said, yeah, man, we had a committee. They made a unanimous recommendation to me, which I have the sole decision and the final decision to fire CM Punk. It's like this never happened. They're looking for any way to not put it to CM Punk. It was always he had to get railroaded somehow, right? And they did it in Chicago. He had a Collision scheduled for that night. He had a pay-per-view scheduled the next night. He walked in there and fired his ass. And then the roster came out there and balled out. This is not Bryan Danielson's fault. This is not any other person's fault except Phil Brooks. The only thing I ask is, can you deal with it? Because if you're not, if you can't, it's okay. Admit it. Say, hey, this really affects me. This changes how I watch professional wrestling because I'm so invested in CM Punk, and just whatever he does, I'm going to follow. But unfortunately for the rest of us that live in the real world that can evaluate situations like adults, obviously the disciplinary committee could figure it out. So I don't know what the grand conspiracy is supposed to be here. When I have to watch people that are sons of one of the greatest rappers of all time come out on Twitter and just argue with Sean Ross Sapp to death, I don't understand it. I'm lost. I think that it is a, it's an unfortunate situation, really, because I would count myself amongst the CM Punk fans at one time. Like, yo, this is the guy we ride with. This is the guy we show up for, right? But yo, let's look at it. Let's look at what happened. I don't know how you continue to call this person a leader unless you just think, hey, this person's entitled to act however way they want, and it's okay. Like if that's it, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I'm the wrong person here. But Bryan Danielson, he went in there and did a job. I'm sure a job he didn't ask for, a job that he didn't want to be responsible for, but he basically was like, yeah, man. So he was obviously looked at for a reason. Like, yo, you can make a fair decision. And unless you want to come out here and give me this laundry list of things that Bryan Danielson has fucked up and then hold it up into, like, yeah, this CM Punk thing is the latest among them. I got nothing for you, Jack. Like, great comment. Punk fans act like Punk is some persecuted minority. That's because CM Punk is so great at his job at convincing everyone the world has wronged CM Punk. It's easy to whip up a base. We see it all through all walks across, like, many you guys know what I'm trying to say. Across many walks of life, we see people whipping up the base. So it's interesting, man. And I don't know what it's going to take for I don't know if this is going to follow Danielson. I don't think it will. Danielson's just going to continue being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and then handling any other situation that he gets asked in on, probably with class and integrity. That's kind of what it seems like. And if we start comparing records, I don't know why we would look at Danielson's record and then look at Punk's record and say Punk is the one that we need to stand behind. Danielson's the problem. I just don't think you're of sound logic here. Zekamaki has a comment. He says, Rich, nothing Jack Perry did warranted Punk going off, especially if you're making multi-millions. All he had to do was tell Tony to handle that. Throwing away money like that makes me think he just wanted to be done at that point. Maybe so. But you would think I feel like he was compelled to act this way because he's not going to act like this in WWE. I feel like it was a respect thing. I feel like even though CM Punk was given the world was not enough.